Safety on the field is top of mind for so many right now. Here in the tri-state area, efforts are already underway to protect young athletes. CBS 2's Tim McNicholas has more on a push to change protocol that could change the game when it comes to preventing concussions in youth sports.
His spirit's still with me. It's here.
Laura Lowney keeps her son Jared's room almost exactly as he left it, full of memories.
His surfboards, his lacrosse sticks.
But not all memories in this brick New Jersey home are happy.
Oh, Jared.
Take the night after a lacrosse game in which he'd collided with a teammate.
He comes home, I'm cooking dinner, and he says, "Mom, I don't feel good." So I turn around and look at him, and he's got a big gash out of the side of his face, and he's bleeding from his head.
Lowney says she took him to an emergency room where doctors said he had a concussion. A couple weeks later, she says a doctor and an athletic trainer said he could return to play, based in part on Jared's statements.
He lied. He said he was fine, he wasn't.
She describes Jared as a happy kid who never complained of depression. But 5 weeks after that concussion, he took his own life. Research suggests the rate of suicide is nearly twice as high for people who've suffered traumatic brain injuries.
He said in his note, my mental health is so bad, I don't know what's wrong with me, but I can't take it anymore.
Lowney may never know exactly why Jared was hurting, but she believes he was still suffering from the impact and experiencing depression as a result. She says Jared's friends later told her he'd continued to complain of headaches weeks after his concussion. Now she advocates for widespread use of something called a baseline concussion test, a test that uses numbers, shapes, and colors to gauge an athlete's memory and reaction time before the season so that if they do get hurt, athletic trainers can use their baseline to help detect how serious the brain injury is.
It definitely would have kept him off that field for a few more weeks because he was saying he was fine, but that would have told me he wasn't.
Everybody would be at their computer.
Athletic trainer Rick Zappola says it's a valuable tool that he's tested athletes with at Paul D. Schreiber High School on Long Island for years.
If a score is significantly off, this will light up red.
In New Jersey, state lawmakers are considering a bill that would require baseline testing for athletes in grades 6 through 12. But the tests are not perfect, and some studies have called into question how much a baseline test actually helps in diagnosing concussions. Even some concussion safety advocates told CBS 2 they don't support mandates.
I do think it can be part of the clinical puzzle. It's not a main part of it. And I think it's still too early in terms of concussion research to say that it's 100% necessary.
Still, many doctors praise baseline tests as a valuable tool to use along with their other evaluations.
Not every school district may have the manpower or the money to be able to do this, but a lot of times these don't take much time or a lot of budget.
Zappola says the tests themselves are often affordable for districts, but it's staffing to conduct the tests that can be a challenge.
That's fine as long as that mandate comes with funding to provide schools with the resources to do it.
New Jersey State Senator Vin Gopal argues many districts already have staff that can conduct the tests.
If that comes, and we're hearing that from superintendents or athletic directors, yeah, well, absolutely, I'll add a funding piece to that. But right now, I think the structure is in place.
In New Jersey, Gopal is working to convince his colleagues on the baseline testing bill, but Lowney is already on board.
I absolutely think a baseline test would have helped.
And there are some other ideas out there. A local football league has eliminated kickoffs, and there are even researchers at Columbia trying to build a helmet that can detect concussions. We'll be exploring those aspects tomorrow night at 11. Jessica?
All right, Tim, great report. Other bills are also being considered. Among them, schools in New York would be required to report concussions to the state. Another bill would make New York join 46 other states in requiring athletic trainers to be licensed, not just certified.